Today, I'm going to talk about Annihilation and help answer 5 questions that I've heard a lot of people ask during this past week. And by the way, there will be spoilers ahead, so with that said, here we go. What was up with the glasses of water? We can spot a glass filled with water next to Lena when she is being interrogated by Lomax at Area X. And there's a glass of water in front of Kane when Lena is interrogating him after he miraculously shows up after a year of being gone and presumed dead. And in a flashback before Kane leaves to go on his suicide mission into the Shimmer, he puts a glass of orange juice on the nightstand next to their bed. It's a small detail, but what in the world could this be telling us? We know that the Shimmer causes radio waves, light waves, and DNA to be refracted. The same way a ray of light can be refracted through a glass of water, changing the angle of the ray and separating the white light into a spectrum of colors. The reason we see a clear glass of water next to Lena and Kane in the present is to represent the fact that they are both affected by the Shimmer, as Kane is a duplicate and Lena contains some of the Shimmer within herself. However, in the flashback when Kane sets the orange juice down on the bedside table, it's meant to help elevate the last moment the two of them had together. The OJ makes the light hard to refract through the glass, thus adding significance to the last moment the two of them had together before they were both affected by the Shimmer. Why did the team of scientists forget everything from the first 3 days of their journey into the Shimmer? In the Southern Reach trilogy, the psychologist, or Ventress in the movie, was aware of the previous teams experiencing hallucinations from the other expeditions. Reading these reports and not wanting the same thing to affect her team, the psychologist uses hypnosis on the other scientists to somewhat keep their sanity and allow them to continue through the Shimmer without any issues arising. The film simply nods at this fact by having our team of scientists wake up without remembering anything from 3 days prior. Ventress, being the one to perform the hypnosis, was the only one out of the team that didn't seem confused or disoriented, and continues wanting to move forward after being the only one not to experience the time jump. Why did the team of scientists enter the Shimmer at Area X? About halfway through the film, the team loses Shepard, and Anya is pushing to go back to Area X, wanting to leave the Shimmer through the same way they came in. But Lena insists on continuing through the Shimmer and staying on track, only because once they arrive at the beach, they can walk up the shoreline out of the Shimmer, and this would supposedly take less time than if they were to just turn around and head back. But if this was the case, why didn't they just come through the Shimmer's border from a closer point, either somewhere closer to the shoreline or by sea? Why did they have to come through the side of Area X, if by leaving from there, it would make their journey so much longer to get to the lighthouse, aka the entire point of their mission? In this film, there wasn't much exposition as to why the border of the Shimmer was impenetrable, but in the Southern Reach trilogy, they did a good job of explaining why the teams of people go on foot, why they didn't enter by sea, and why no vehicles were entering the border of the Shimmer. The border stretched about a mile out to sea, 70 miles inland, and about 40 miles east and west of the lighthouse. The Shimmer's border even stretched up into the stratosphere, and so far below the Earth that digging a tunnel into the Shimmer was impossible. In the film, it's shown to us that radio waves and any signal in general is scrambled when entering the Shimmer, and in the books it's even worse. When anyone tried to use a vehicle to get into the Shimmer's border, it would simply vanish or disintegrate, and they would lose all contact with it. It was only through a small entrance that opened up at Area X that allowed them to walk into the Shimmer. It was around 20 feet high and 12 feet wide, but the passage was unpredictable and it was consistently changing in size, which made it nearly impossible to get any vehicles through there. And it's mentioned that some teams had to crawl through the passageway just to make it in, just to further show us that getting into the Shimmer was not an easy task. What was the meaning behind the two deer running together? Such a brief and beautifully innocent moment. That was a nice change in tone compared to other more unsettling scenes. Shortly after Shepard's death, Lena holds a rifle to 2 deer, and at first she is fearful, thinking that the deer are some other terrifying creature, but realizes they're just deer. So she lowers her gun and watches the deer scurry away in this very calm moment. It was a great scene to put after Shepard's death. In my analysis on the ending of this film, I bring up the fact that the further the team of scientists go into the Shimmer, the closer they are to the point of singularity, as the Shimmer is refracting basically everything and blending it together. Shepard may be dead, but she now exists in the Shimmer in some other way. Things like her voice and cells from her body continue to be recycled in this world. Later in the film, we see a flashback of Lena reading a book titled The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, which goes into talk about some of the first successfully cloned cells, and how they become somewhat immortal after a certain number of divisions. The cells were taken from Lacks a few months before she died of cancer. When the team is on the boat, Shepard mentions how she lost a daughter to leukemia. And I'm not saying that this scene with the 2 deers are meant to directly symbolize Shepard and her daughter being together after death, but it kind of does give us a message that we're all returning back into the world somehow, and we all kind of will be reunited as we go back into the same environment we came from. Just like the cells from Lacks, some part of Shepard continues, even if it is in a terrifying bear monster. Another interesting point to bring up is that the 2 Shimmer deer look up and run away together in perfect unison, almost as if they are duplicates or mimics of one another. And we see something exactly like this at the end of the film. When Lena finally reaches the lighthouse, the Shimmer uses Ventress to produce a mimic of Lena, something that mirrors her every move. So the scene with the two deer kind of foreshadows the event of Lena's duplicate in the lighthouse, and introduces us to the idea of the duplication of cells being applied to a larger scale thing like animals or humans. The duplication of things in the Shimmer could go far beyond organic beings. When arriving in the town near the shore, the team decides to stay in what appears to be a duplicate of Lena's house from the beginning of the film, and there are moments where you can see Lena lingering and observing the pictures on the walls, and you can see her confused as she notices the similarities. So duplication plays a huge part in this film, and the deers were there to simply help get that point across. What was the purpose behind Lena's infinity tattoo? The closer you got to the center of the Shimmer, the more things like your DNA, cells, and consciousness, and anything else got blended together. The tattoo that Lena gets from the Shimmer was transferred to her the same way that Shepard's voice was transferred into the terrifying bear-human hybrid creature, and the same way that Josie was starting to grow leaves out of her scars. The tattoo is there to show us that Lena has become part of the Shimmer and that it has changed her permanently. While she is not a clone of herself at the end of the film, she is still carrying around the Shimmer inside of her. It's a perfect tattoo for Lena to possess. It's symbolic of one of the central themes of the story, which is the infinite and continuous circle of evolution, how something is always being destroyed to create something new. And that was pretty much all I had to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. Annihilation is already one of my favorite films ever made, and because of this, I plan on releasing more Annihilation videos just like this one in the future, analyzing the film further and answering questions people might have had when watching it. So if you guys have any questions yourself, please feel free to comment below. And if you learned something today and love sci-fi, please subscribe to support this channel, and I will see you guys in my next Annihilation video.